It was a busy week for law enforcement. The investor bidding on the Bahama resort addressed concerns, and a cabinet minister once again found himself at the heart of controversy. We've got those stories and others. I'm your host, Krishna Virgil, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. The $2.1 billion proposal for the development of agriculture and fisheries in Andros was pitched to the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources by the government's ambassador to China, and not the Chinese government or investors, according to Agriculture and Fisheries Minister V. Alfred Gray on Thursday. Insisting that he would not be a scapegoat, Mr. Gray took steps to further clarify his ministry's role in the proposal during an appearance on the radio talk show Off Air with host Andrew Burrows. Mr. Gray explained that Bahamas ambassador to the People's Republic of China, Paul Andy Gomez, had submitted the proposal as an overview of items that he sought clearance from the government to discuss with investors in China. Mr. Gray said, quote, Mr. Gomez's remit for me was to discuss it, and once you discuss it, send me and the government a report to see what you might have concluded by way of your discussions for the government's consideration. The remit that he submitted to me did not come from the Chinese, that came from him, subjects he wanted to discuss. I gave permission for him to discuss those things and come back to me in 2 to 3 weeks to make recommendations, something to say yes or no to. Mr. Gray added, he has not even started his discussions yet, so how can you have put a proposal? When asked how the draft letter of the proposal was leaked, Mr. Gray said, Mr. Ambassador himself admitted to the government that once he got the letter of permission, he took it upon himself to talk with the National Trust about it, to talk with the agencies of the government to get their blessing. The issue has led the Free National Movement to call for the resignation of Mr. Gray. After numerous delays, the Public Accounts Committee tabled its report into the Urban Renewal Commission, finding it severely lacking in accountability, coupled with minimal fiscal safeguards and led by co-chairs who are extremely naive and unclear of their rules to properly administer the initiative. As a result, PAC Chairman Hubert Chipman told the House of Assembly on Wednesday that it was quite clear that the public had not gotten value for money and that opportunities for dishonest dealing, fraud, and profiteering abounded. The report suggested that one troubling instance where dishonest dealing could have occurred was in the allocation of $1 million that was to be used for an urban agriculture program, but was redirected to other areas. The initial program was said to have died on the vine, and that staff hired for this purpose were instead assigned to the small homes repair program. It was further found that there was gross negligence in the operation of the URC private bank account. In its first report of the 2012 session of Parliament, the PAC found that although co-chairs Algernon Allen and Cynthia Mother Pratt were each paid $52,000 per annum for part-time work and provided with separate vehicles, gas allowance, cell phones, and offices, their purview was strictly limited to New Providence, where it appeared they had no authority to enforce particular guidelines related to the granting of contracts for the SHR program, among other things. In April 2015, a copy of Auditor General Terence Bastian's critical report into Urban Renewal's small homes repair program was leaked to the press and sparked a debate over the management of urban renewal. The PAC has used the report for its investigation. Mr. Bastian highlighted a litany of concerns and weaknesses related to the small homes repair project, management, and expenditure. The audit reveals, for instance, that 11 contractors were paid more than $170,000 for small home repairs that were not completed or done. A pioneer in the numbers industry this week hit out at the government over the proliferation of web shops. A year after the Christie administration issued a provisional license to 8 web shop companies, one pioneer of the gaming industry said there is much to be concerned about, especially the proliferation of number houses. This is a common complaint of some Bahamians who feel that too many gaming houses have emerged within the last year. As the head of FML Group of Companies, Craig Flowers, on Thursday offered his perspective on the issue, questioning when the government will do more to regulate the problem. He added that the regulations the government has placed on the sector meant his company has barely gotten by. His statements to the Tribune came a day after Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe confirmed that the Gaming Board is finally ready to issue official licenses to the eligible web shops, although one company, Ace Draw and Spin, failed to renew its provisional license and appears to have exited the industry amid rumors of unpaid taxes and fees. With respect to Mr. Flowers' criticism, Mr. Wilshcombe said on Thursday that steps would be taken to further clamp down on the proliferation of some web shops. For Mr. Flowers, the government has not been as responsive on this issue as he expected or would like. He said, quote, "There are still a lot of loose ends in the industry that I think the government needs to address, particularly whether the government is going to find out whether there will be a moratorium on stores opening up in the country and how many are allowed on the island. Will it be an open-door policy that you could just put as many stores as you want as it has been in the past? There's proliferation on stores all over the country, and there is no indication that the government will ever put a stop to it. Of course, the more stores we open, the more money we have to pay. The intent of web shops is to raise funds, so perhaps that's why we've heard nothing. There's nothing in place to stop you from building more web shops. End quote. Mr. Flowers said since provisional licenses were awarded to 8 companies last year, the number of web shops in the country has quadrupled, a statement that appears to contradict Tourism Minister Obi Roshkam's statements on the matter. The Hong Kong conglomerate in talks to purchase the Bahama resort on Tuesday refuted assertions that it was unsuited to invest in the country, stating its commitment to integrity and good governance in business operations worldwide. Bahama bidder Chow Tai Fook Enterprises Limited said it has never applied for a casino license in the United States and as such has never been denied by the jurisdiction. CTFE emphasized that it is a privately held business that identified the Bahamas as a unique growth opportunity, seeking to address suggestions that it had links to the Chinese government. The conglomerate's response to questions from the Tribune came the day after former Bahamar director Dionisio Diegler suggested that the conglomerate was an unsuitable investor due to its reported inability to obtain casino licensing in 2 U.S. states and its alleged well-documented connection to organized crime in Asia. The well-documented connection likely refers to the Chang families, which is the owner of CTFE, linked to billionaire Stanley Ho through its stake in Macau Group, STDM. Mr. Ho and his associates have reportedly been unsuccessful in attempts to expand gaming interests in Australia, Canada, and other countries due to alleged associations with Chinese triad gangs in his Macau casinos. A police-involved shooting, the discovery of a decomposed body, and the death of a man in the capital kept police busy this week and left citizens questioning whether their government would ever get a handle on crime. 2 persons died and 3 others were injured in a shooting on Thursday in the quiet and peaceful community of McLeanstown, East Grand Bahama. Although police have not confirmed the identity of the deceased men, the victims were believed to be 2 of 3 men who were wanted by police for questioning in connection with an attempted murder investigation. The McLeanstown settlement, where crime is virtually non-existent, was inundated by police officers of the Eastern District, and a team of investigators in Freeport rushed out to the scene some 35 miles away. It happened on Thursday. The bodies of the victims were discovered in the area of a graveyard, Inspector Teresita Pinder told the press. Earlier in the week in the capital, police discovered a body in an advanced stage of decomposition in bushes off of Cabalco Road. On Wednesday, the discovery was made in the area of Lazaretto Road around 7 p.m., police said. They classified this as a sudden death pending the results of an autopsy. There was also another murder on Peach Street and Montrose Avenue and brought the country's murder count to 84 for the year, according to the Tribune's records. This happened early Sunday morning. Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website at www.tribune242.com. Like us on Facebook, the Tribune News Network. Send us a tweet at Tribune242 or subscribe to our YouTube page, Tribune242.